Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. I'm joined with Khierstyn today from Launch and Scale. How's it going, Khierstyn?
Really, really good. Thanks. Pumped to be here.
Where are you based out of?
I'm in Toronto, so the cold state up north.
Amazing. I love it. We discussed that last time and mentioned I have some family out in Toronto. So shout out to the six, as you guys call it.
Out. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background in e-commerce. I'm very curious.
Yeah, man. How far back do you want me to go?
I guess a summary from like how you got involved and
Okay.
kind of where it's at now.
Sounds good. And if you want me to elaborate anywhere, just let me know. But I got into e-commerce actually off the back of Kickstarter launches. So about 2015, I was your typical consultant that was helping anybody and everything get more sales, meaning I was not specialized and I was still trying to figure out what I was going to do to make money, right? I did have a very successful consulting background before this. And when I stepped out on my own, it was quite the learning curve to learn how to get business for yourself. So moving into 2015, I went to a networking event and I met the founder of a physical product. It's a really cool like vest that helps you lose weight through cold temperatures. It sounds like a massive scam and it ended up being a massive scam. Spoiler alert. But I partnered with this guy when I was still very green and we launched a campaign on Indiegogo. And the campaign crowdfunding, we ended up raising only 30% of what we needed to actually bring the product to the market for manufacturing and inventory. And so because it was a product failure, we thought, oh, does this mean that people don't want the product? So after that launch fail, we ended up digging into why we think it failed. And it turns out it wasn't actually the product. The product was sound, but it was how we were like presenting the product to the market. We made a ton of mistakes and we decided to try to launch again in a few months and rectify those mistakes. So we went back to Indiegogo 3 months later and we took that 30% failure into one that raised about $600,000 in 30 days with 5,000 customers by making a couple of adjustments. And that was crazy. I still to this day think it was a fluke, but we did strategize. We fixed a lot of stuff. And that got my foot in the door for getting quite a few more crowdfunding projects where I was a project manager and strategist to take new product ideas, to launch them on Kickstarter to get funding for inventory. And that turned into my main gig for 5 years. And to this day, we raised over $5 million with our clients. We have raised all sorts of products in different niches. And the beauty of Kickstarter and crowdfunding is that you're literally launching a business, you're launching a brand. And so we were able to work with a handful of those people that launched their first product and actually turn their brand into 7-figure plus businesses over the last few years. And so I got into e-commerce by accident. And I say like going from Kickstarter to building brands is a natural transition. And so I actually transitioned out, well, more expanded our portfolio, I'll say, in about 12 months, where we now don't only do product launches, we now focus on early stage growth for brands. So it really was something that I think I fell into. And then you have to learn to get good quickly. And we were able to do that. So it's, I fell in love with what I do today. So
I love that. Not a lot of people in that e-commerce circle, certainly not me, have gone the Kickstarter, Indiegogo route. So I'm actually super curious and like my brain is just lighting up.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to know, do these products have to be uniquely designed, have some kind of a story that is developed? Do you guys help with that story development and kind of the audience, who this is for, what this does, and and how do you get it out to that audience? I know that's a loaded question, but my mind's just like
So let's unpack that a little bit. So first thing, what kind of products do well on Kickstarter? If you are a commoditized product, meaning you're selling a widget that 50,000 other people are selling on Amazon, it's not a Kickstarter campaign. Kickstarter is going to be for products that want to build brands. Brands mean either completely innovative, like the drone, but not all products are like that. So you're either like super, super innovative, or you are improving an existing offer. So you take something like, what if you had weighted fitness, like a bracelet that has weights in it that helps you be fit on the go? What if that was a commodity, but you decided to improve that by making it prettier, giving it different colors, and then putting a brand on that? That's now a unique custom product. That is something that you can have on Kickstarter. So it just has to be unique in some way, and assume that there's product market fit and people are going to take out their wallet for it. That's going to be a good Kickstarter campaign.
I love that. And I guess using that as a launch pad for the brand, what else goes after the Kickstarter campaign? What else goes into that recipe to be a kick-ass brand after that? If you can elaborate on that and kind of break that down.
So most people will say marketing, but I actually think it comes before that. Where most brands screw up on Kickstarter is they overpromise a product, whether that's promising you're going to deliver in 3 months, and then they're chronically late because of, COVID, or they didn't raise how much they needed to. So now they're scrambling to find investment to cover the inventory costs. So the first step to building a brand off of Kickstarter comes down to your ability to take care of your customers. So if you can, even if your product is late, that's okay. Just make sure that you're over communicating, you're treating your customers like gold, and you show them that you appreciate them, because without them, you don't have a business. So that's going to be really step one, is focusing on bringing an awesome product to market and over communicating if there are any problems. So that's really step one, to make sure that you can deliver the product as promised. Okay. And deliver a great product as promised. Otherwise, crappy products are just going to cannibalize your success. After that point, pending you've got a great product, then you have to then build a marketing engine that constantly spreads the word about your product and gets new people in.
And I want to stay there for a little, if you can. What has been the top marketing engines for you guys? Something that you're seeing. Maybe let's go back until 2020 and until now.
So for fastest results are going to be ads. Specifically, it was Facebook ads, right? Facebook and Google, and remarketing at that point. But if you're looking for longevity and something that's going to build a solid community, that's going to be social media. But that's very different, because that is a long-term organic play. Social and influencer marketing, those are very difficult to scale because it takes months and months and months to do that. So it depends, but I think if you're looking for fast results and you've already got a pretty good base and your store is already starting to convert, like ads is going to be the fuel that helps get you to that next level.
Yeah, I guess on the social media side, it's what Gary Vee calls day trading attention, and constantly giving, seeing those comments, replying back to those comments. So doing the unscalable, I guess, is what he says. Yeah, that's amazing. How about email marketing? So like on Kickstarter, can you capture emails and connect them to a software and do your drip?
As of right now, no. That's one of the most frustrating things about Kickstarter. Kickstarter will lock up all backer data or all of your customer data until you have got funded and the money is in. And then as soon as your campaign closes, I think it's either immediate or about 7 days later where you get it's immediate, where you get your backer list with emails. But while your campaign is open, they don't give you that information, just in case you cancel the campaign and you go to then take that email list and sell them on your own store or something like that. But Indiegogo makes your customer data available immediately.
yeah, I guess they have to have some kind of separation or advantage and say, hey, we're different than Kickstarter in this way.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
exactly.
I would love to, and that's similar to Amazon, which is the world that I come from.
Yeah.
Going back to that, and as I'm sure the audience knows, they don't provide any customer data, right? So it's like, this is our asset. You can sell to them as under our brand on our platform, but you do not communicate with them. So they're
You don't.
taking a lot of that away.
Yeah, you don't own the customer. We can cancel your store anytime, hold on to your funds. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Amazon is such a pleasure to sell on.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I love it. I really do. What, I guess, transitioning outside of Kickstarter and maybe focusing on you guys as a brand, what's been the biggest luxury that marketing e-commerce has provided for you? And again, where do you see that going for you guys?
My biggest luxury, do you mean like perk of doing what we do?
Yeah, I would say perk, or the biggest joy that you've gotten out of it.
I mean, two things. I love being at the forefront of new product innovation. I freaking love it. I love that my job when I get on sales calls is not me pitching services. It's people pitching their ideas to me because they're looking like, what do you think? Is this a good investment? Do we like, so that's been like super, super cool. But the thing I love the most about what we do is I love fixing problems. So and I think the early stage world for marketing agencies is not a popular spot, because you do get founders in the very beginning that are bootstrapping and they've got to be conscious. But I think that there's the most opportunity for growth and big change early stage to take people to that next level. And so what I love doing is just taking a founder who's at like 5, 10, 15K a month. Things are starting to work, but a lot of stuff's broken, and you're starting to figure out what has to come together from like the email side, the funnel, the website conversion, overall brand strategy, to start to see what's going to get lift off for them. And that's what I love the most.
I love that. And I can only imagine.
I don't know what happened with my calendar. Don't know what happened there.
I can only imagine being on the cutting edge of those innovative products. That must be super exciting. What would you say to someone who's looking either to start or has a brand and might be considering Kickstarter or crowdfunding? What are some steps that they need to do in order to ensure success or have at least a successful launch?
Yeah, so going into Kickstarter, you need to come in with an audience. So you are best served if you are an existing brand already. And I don't mean like you don't need to be Apple to crowdfund, but you at least have a bit of a base. Like you've got a couple thousand people on your list. Maybe you have a Facebook group. You already have product in market. You already have some traction, some social proof. Kickstarter is going to be really good to help you get your product in front of more people and grow your community faster. So that's what I would say is like Kickstarter is a big opportunity, but I think that a lot of people see it as something that will, they don't realize the price they have to pay to actually go on Kickstarter. And in terms of if you go on with no audience and no marketing budget, you're going to get buried and you're not going to hit your goal. And it's going to be very, dehumanizing is the wrong word, but just it's not going to feel very good. So you want to make sure that you're setting up yourself up for success by coming in with a product that you know is going to work, and you're coming in with a base of an audience and a bit of a marketing budget and realistic expectations. Because I think that for the right products, Kickstarter can take you to the moon. Like there's some amazing things that can come out of a Kickstarter campaign. But a lot of times I see the wrong people doing Kickstarter, or not in the right position because they don't have an audience, or they're risking their inventory money to do a launch. And so
I see.
Yeah,
that makes sense. We actually have a few clients at the 3PL that have launched on Kickstarter, and we just do their shipments for them.
Yeah.
I haven't really. They do have an innovative product, of course, as you mentioned. and they do have an audience huge on Amazon actually. So what they did was like their hero product that's like they've had since forever is kind of there on their website.
Yeah.
But then they had a unique product or a different version of that old product that is now new that they started that launch on Kickstarter, which I thought was interesting.
That is also common. Yeah.
Because like if they took that on Amazon and just launched it there, it's like I think the fear now is becoming I'm gonna get knocked off. There's no brand affinity. My customers don't really like gravitate towards the product and what we're trying to do. Whereas like on the Kickstarter side, maybe even you can do this on Shopify or a funnel. It's more the customer is in love with that product and willing to dive into the community to learn and do all that stuff. And even I'm sure to buy more, like follow up, buy the other products, buy the next product.
Exactly.
What would you say is your superpower in e-commerce? I think we kind of got a flavor here, but I want to hear it from you. What's kind of your superpower in e-com?
I think, I don't know. I would say I'm like, and it's going to sound egotistical here, but I feel like I'm like a doctor who comes in and diagnoses someone's biggest opportunity. There's that, or it might also be that I'm very good at distilling really complex ideas into something very simple. I think I get that because of my dad, because he's an engineer who anything he writes and tries to sell, it's like no one understands it. So to be able to take that idea and distilling it into something a 5-year-old would understand is the way to market a product. So that one of those two, I think, would be my superpowers. So
I love that. So many times, and I've done this mistake in the past. It's like we try to add more complexity to what we're doing because we think no one else is doing that or whatever we might be thinking.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
It's the opposite. It's like, okay, make this simpler, clean it, cut the fat, trim it. As simple. I like you mentioned that if you can explain this to a 5-year-old and if they had a credit card, they would definitely buy. I love that.
Otherwise, people are looking at your website like, well, it looks cool, but I don't understand what it does, or I don't know if it's for me, or why is it so expensive? And there's just like these things because of how your product's presented is putting off your buyers because they just don't understand it. So
now I believe I read somewhere on the site that you specialize in a specific niche. I think it was health and fitness for DTC brands. Is that the focus, and or is there other products that might come up, let's say that's tech-based or something like that, that you would still consider? Or is there a specific nature, like, okay, this is my spot, this is where we're comfortable operating?
Yeah, so we looked to niche down because the e-com space is so saturated. So how many agencies out there say, oh, we help e-commerce brands do Facebook ads? Like everyone and their dog seems to do that. So we took a pool of all the products we launched and looked to see what was the main category we launched in, or what products we do. And we primarily, whether they're tech, whether they are supplements or whatnot, most of our products are wellness, health, and fitness. So we would definitely, like, working with a more of a luxury coffee maker right now, that's a bit of a stretch in the wellness category. But when I look at wellness, health, and fitness, that is something that we specialize in. But if a really cool, like if Jamstack wants to hire us again to launch their third amp, of course we're going to do it because we've got a track record with them or whatnot. But we specialize in that niche, but that niche is so broad because that includes journals, supplements, food, fitness tech, it includes insoles, it includes, like, there's so much in that space that we have done. So yeah.
And again, to kind of go back to our initial conversation, like a lot of people might think, okay, we can source any product, go into any niche, either it's the agencies or the actual sellers. Specifically again on Amazon, like we see a list of categories, it's the everything store. But the specialty can actually be to niche down, especially if you're trying to build a brand. And correct me if I'm wrong, like if we don't have a niche of who we're targeting, if we don't know what our audience likes and who they are, how can we ever sell them our product? Right? It's like
exactly like being Walmart, you would say maybe isn't a niche because of how many products they sell, but actually what they're selling is to a certain kind of, maybe it's a psychographic where kind of person that values saving money. So you can niche down in a different way where if you serve 1 billion products to whatever, see who your main customer is and see if you can put a value proposition around that. So there's like niching vertically versus horizontally. And I think that for CPG brands, we need to look at focusing on the kind of person. So like you have bulletproof coffee, that is for biohackers. That's for people who are optimizing performance. Like, great. Kind of stay in that, at least in the beginning, to get your foothold.
Yeah, I love that. I try to always envision with our brand, like there's one person that I'm talking to who's our audience, and I have the product in my hands, and we're just having this conversation, like who are they, how is what I have going to help them solve their issue, solve their problem. So yeah, just try to visualize I'm having an actual one-on-one conversation. And then obviously we're not trying to sell to one person, we have a business. And then it's like replicate. Maybe there might be differences in between each audience, each broad audience, but
yeah,
now we can, all of those can become talking points in our ads, emails, and what have you.
Yeah,
I love that, guys. So this is so important. If you follow anything of what I say, I'm big on branding and niching down instead of just trying to sell everything and then anything. I would highly say reach out to Khierstyn and just pick her brain and check out her YouTube channel. And with that said, how can people connect with you and kind of reach out for some help if they have?
Yeah, well, I think so. Everything we do lives on our website at launchandscale.co. Or if you're looking to learn just more about launching and scaling your e-commerce brand, we've got a YouTube channel as well. So that's like the home of most of our content online. We've got about 300 videos you can go through right now. So
amazing. Well, I'll link all of that, your website and YouTube in the description. And guys, if you have questions for either myself, Khierstyn, on KickStarter branding, well, don't ask me KickStarter stuff. I don't know. Again, I'll leave everything in the description, and yeah, I hope you guys find some value in this, and I hope people connect with you, and hopefully down the line we can do this again, and maybe if you have specific things that you'd like to share, we can do a screen share and kind of just add more value to what we're trying to do.
I'm down.
Just amazing. Thank you.
Comments.
All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you, Khierstyn.
Bye.